And I was talking about, what is the first truly Islamist country that will get a nuclear weapon? And we were like, maybe it's Iran.
It's purely people saying, look how good I must be. If I'm bringing someone down, if I'm canceling someone.
In this video, we'll dive into Ricky Gervais's unexpected alliance with JD Vance, exploring their shared concerns about free speech and political correctness. We'll break down Vance's controversial Munich speech and Gervais' biting commentary on UK politics. Prepare for a no-holds-barred analysis of the current state of political discourse, featuring two of the most outspoken voices in the public sphere. Is this the wake-up call UK politics needs? Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now, back to the video. In a shocking turn of events, a British Army veteran found himself on the wrong side of the law for a crime that's left many scratching their heads. Adam Smith Connor, a man who served his country, was convicted for, wait for it, silently praying near an abortion clinic. Yes, you read that right. Silent prayer, once considered a personal and peaceful act, has now become a criminal offense in the UK.
I was talking with a friend recently, and we were talking about, one of the big dangers in the world, of course, is nuclear proliferation, though, of course, the Biden administration doesn't care about it.
It's purely people saying, look how good I must be. If I'm bringing someone down, if I'm canceling someone.
Maybe Pakistan already kind of counts, and then we sort of finally decided maybe it's actually the UK, since Labour just took over.
The incident unfolded outside a clinic in Bournemouth, where Smith Connor stood quietly, hands in his pockets, eyes closed. No placards, no shouting, no interaction with anyone entering or leaving the clinic. Just a man, his thoughts, and apparently a whole lot of trouble. So what's the deal? Enter the Public Spaces Protection Order, PSPO, and the newly minted Public Order Act 2023. These laws, ostensibly created to protect public spaces and maintain order, have taken a rather Orwellian turn. They've effectively criminalized thought itself, turning the act of silent prayer into a punishable offense when done within certain zones. Ricky Gervais, never one to shy away from controversy, didn't hold back in his critique of this absurd situation. Taking to social media, the comedian unleashed a scathing commentary on the state of free speech in the UK. What's next? Gervais quipped, arresting people for thinking impure thoughts while walking past a church. The comedian's words struck a chord with many, highlighting the absurdity of punishing someone for an act that, by its very nature, causes no disturbance or harm to others. It's a far cry from the robust traditions of free speech that the UK has long prided itself on. When we compare this to other Western democracies, the UK's approach stands out as particularly heavy-handed. In the United States, for instance, such an act would likely be protected under the First Amendment. Even in countries with stricter public order laws, the idea of criminalizing silent prayer would be met with disbelief and resistance. The punishment for Smith Connor's crime: a £100 fine. It might not seem like much, but the implications are enormous. This isn't just about the money, it's about the precedent it sets. If silent prayer can be criminalized, what's next on the chopping block of free expression? The public backlash has been swift and severe. Civil liberties groups have condemned the conviction, arguing that it represents a dangerous overreach of state power. Even those who support the idea of buffer zones around abortion clinics have expressed concern about the extent of these restrictions. While the UK grapples with free speech restrictions, another controversy is brewing across the channel. At the Munich Security Conference, JD Vance dropped a statistical bombshell that left European leaders squirming. The US Vice President's critique of UK immigration policies has ignited fierce debate and exposed uncomfortable truths that many politicians seem reluctant to address. Vance's speech at the conference caused quite a stir, particularly when he turned his attention to the UK's immigration figures. He didn't mince words, highlighting a staggering rise in net migration that has raised eyebrows and concerns across the political spectrum.
And I was talking about, what is the first truly Islamist country that will get a nuclear weapon? And we were like, maybe it's Iran.
Most 20-year-olds, are they trying to be? So I'd probably cringe at getting it slightly wrong, if anything, because the tiniest thing they did 10 years ago, think how perfect I must be. That's what they're trying to say. They're trying to get one-upmanship to make themselves look better.
European officials, caught off guard by Vance's blunt assessment, were quick to push back against his criticisms. But what exactly did Vance reveal that has everyone talking? The numbers are indeed eye-opening. According to Vance, in the year leading up to June 2024, the UK saw a net migration of approximately 728,000 individuals. To break it down further, he noted that 1.22 million people arrived in the UK during this period, while 479,000 departed. These figures represent a significant increase from previous years and have sparked intense discussions about the sustainability of such high levels of immigration. The potential impact of these numbers on UK public services cannot be overstated. Experts have voiced concerns that this rapid influx could overwhelm existing infrastructure, particularly in areas like healthcare, education, and housing. These systems are already under considerable strain. The addition of hundreds of thousands of new residents could push them to breaking point. Vance's frustration with the current management of immigration policies was palpable in his speech. He pointedly asked, "When are we going to stop taking, when do we as a qualification to run the country is that in charge do what they want?" This statement, while somewhat garbled, reflects a growing sentiment among critics of the UK's approach to immigration control. Amidst this heated debate, Ricky Gervais has weighed in with his characteristic wit and skepticism. Known for his outspoken views on political correctness, Gervais has emphasized the importance of free speech in discussions about immigration. He argues that we must defend the right to express controversial opinions, even if they offend some individuals. This stance aligns with his broader critique of what he sees as an overly sanitized public discourse. The revelation of these immigration statistics has indeed sparked a fierce debate about the UK's immigration system. Many are calling for a more controlled and well-managed approach to ensure that the influx of people doesn't negatively impact society. The discussion reflects a complex mix of perspectives, with some recognizing the cultural and economic contributions of immigrants, while others express valid concerns about the capacity of public services to accommodate such rapid population growth. As we've seen, the battle for free speech in the UK is far from over. Gervais and Vance have shown a spotlight on the creeping erosion of civil liberties, but the road ahead remains uncertain. Experts predict that these challenges might actually spark a renewed interest in protecting free expression. Could this be the wake-up call that Western democracies need? It's not just about comedians pushing boundaries or politicians speaking their minds. This is about the very foundation of open societies. The conviction for silent prayer near abortion clinics isn't just a one-off incident. It's a symptom of a larger problem. Are we sleepwalking into a world where thought itself becomes a crime? But here's the real kicker. Change starts with us. It's easy to sit back and let others fight these battles, but that's not how democracy works. We need to have those uncomfortable conversations, challenge our own assumptions, and yes, sometimes even offend each other. Because at the end of the day, isn't that better than living in a sanitized world where we're all too afraid to speak our minds?